JAT Holdings. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of JAT Holdings, I warmly welcome each and every one of you present here today. And for those of you joining with us virtually through Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. Today marks the momentous launch of the initial public offering of JAT Holdings. Let me first introduce to you our distinguished panelists. Mr. Darshan Pereira, Director and Chief Executive Officer, NDB Investment Bank. Mr. Deshan Pushparaja, Managing Director, Global Markets and Investment Banking, Capital Alliance Partners Limited. Dr. Sivakumar Sellayya, Chairman, JAT Holdings Limited. Mr. Elian Gunawardena, Founder and Managing Director, JAT Holdings Limited. Mr. Nishal Ferdinando, Chief Executive Officer, JAT Holdings Limited. Before we continue with today's proceedings, let us take a closer look at the journey of JAT Holdings over the past 28 years.
Ayubowan, Halo Kehene, Kemun Achin, Assalamu Alaikum, Namaste.
These are a few ways of saying hi, how are you, in the languages of the countries that we are represented in. I'm Elian Gunawardena, and it's been over 25 years since we founded JAT Holdings with the primary objective of supplying Sri Lanka the world's #1 wood coatings.
Established in 1993, JAT Holdings has rapidly grown into one of Sri Lanka's strongest conglomerate brands, offering a superior range of products across the finishing and furnishing industries. We create spaces where people live, learn, work, and play. We have built JAT Holdings upon two main verticals, paint and furnishing. JAT Paints successfully dominate the timber coating market and has expanded into the decorative interior and exterior wall paint, solvent-based and water-based enamel paint, a maintenance range, putties, plasters, paint brushes, and rollers. JAT Furnishing delivers innovative furnishing products and accessories for commercial and residential needs. We provide unique modular kitchen and wardrobe designs by SIA with impeccable customer service and the highest quality German standards. Also in our range, the pinnacle of office desks and seating, Herman Miller. World-renowned furniture design leader, Horus. Schaffer offers its customers a wide range of products for the sanitary and changing areas. Horman's doors made of steel, stainless steel and aluminium. Armstrong and Eurometallic are leaders in the design and manufacture of innovative commercial ceiling, suspension systems and wall solutions. Lifewood, luxury handcrafted flooring. Durable outdoor bamboo decking and wall cladding by Daso. Most of these brands are trusted and used by some of Sri Lanka's most iconic projects, such as Altair, Luna Tower, Prime Grand and the Ritz-Carlton. JAT initiated the Sayalak Sapkare program as an ongoing platform to support painters and carpenters who faced disruptions to their work due to the pandemic by providing technical knowledge and free products, empowering and supporting them to recommence work. Petal Paint, an innovative sustainability initiative that saw JAT launch a long-term campaign to collect the thousands of discarded flower offerings at temples and convert the pigments of the blessed offerings into paint. This is now donated back to temples across the island to repaint murals and thereby supporting the preservation of the Sri Lankan heritage and culture. JAT Holdings became the first paint company in Sri Lanka to calculate its direct and indirect carbon footprint across all three scopes, complying with international standards concerning JAT's commitment to environment and social sustainability. JAT Holdings has been recognized for its consistent focus on the quality of products and services, exceeding customer expectations and winning a series of awards and accolades. Highlights include being the only private company to receive ICRA Moody's A+ stable rating for 5 consecutive years, the LMD's top 100 most respected entities, overall bronze winner awarded by the National Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka, being amongst the top 20 conglomerate brands by Brand Finance, and the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award for 2017 presented to Elian Gunawardena. A few notable highlights for the year 2020 was the introduction of White by JAT, a range of premium quality brilliant white emulsion paint for interior and exterior surfaces, and the introduction of JAT Care, instant hand sanitizer and disinfectant surface cleaner. JAT Care is a new business vertical that JAT envisions to expand in the future. We believe that sports is a great way of giving back to the community. Being the official overseas team sponsor of Sri Lanka cricket for the year 2020-2021 season, and the only Sri Lankan company to sponsor the Kandy Tuskers cricket team at Lanka Premier League 2020, is a great testament to this, signifying our dominant market position in Bangladesh. Sponsoring the Chattogram Challengers team at the Bangladesh Premier League 2019-2020 helped JAT to further strengthen its footprint and market reputation in Bangladesh. JAT is one of the most lucrative businesses to invest in, with a promising plan for future expansion and growth in Sri Lanka and South Asia. These include investments in technologies and facilities that enable innovations. Further enhancing its already established footprint in Bangladesh, JAT plans to extend its manufacturing to Bangladesh and Africa, including the development of a state-of-the-art research center in Sri Lanka. JAT also has a pipeline of product innovations to be introduced to the local and international markets, inclusive of retail expansion and digitalization.
So while thanking my Lord and Creator and thanking all our stakeholders for helping us to achieve the kind of growth that we have over the years, and for believing in us, our brand and our product and our promise, we assure you that we'll continue to support all our customers with the trust and the kind of product that you can only dream of getting from a company like JAT.
Subadavasak Nalanal. That's a good day to you from Sri Lanka.
I would now like to invite Mr. Elian Gunawardena, founder and managing director of JAT Holdings, to present the opening address.
Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you for joining us today. I'm so pleased and excited to be able to announce the initial public offering of JAT, which is due to be opened, the IPO to be open on the 20th of July. And it gives me great pleasure to have this fantastic team here with us, and to have all of you all who are online watching us, and the press of Sri Lanka. Like the video said, the core purpose of JAT when we set it up in 1993 was to supply Sri Lanka the best wood coatings in the market. We wanted to, in the international market, we wanted to, when we got into the Sri Lankan market was just doing very inferior NC sort of products, and we went ahead and introduced a 2-pack scratch, chemical and heat resistant product that we thought was required for the market. And this was only possible to do by training every painter and every furniture company. And this has been our core strength from 1993 onwards. Over the last 28 years, what our greatest strength and asset, I believe, today is the 30,000 painters we've trained in Sri Lanka and the 20,000 painters we've trained and certified in Bangladesh. And this has helped us to take new technologies to the market. We find that when we introduced into the year 2000, when we introduced the water-based coatings to the Sri Lankan market, that the way we were able to get this across to every painter across the island was the fact that we had this customer base of trained painters who believed in our product. And that way it was very easy for us to train them and then go from an industrial product of NC or PU, which was only used in the furniture factories, to every individual household, where people, when they were finishing their doors and windows and ceilings at their own homes, a painter or a boss could come and finish that with water base, which was a brush-on product, self-leveling. It leveled very easily, so it was brushed on. You didn't need to spray it like in the past. And that is the water-based product being a low VOC, excellent UV-resistant, environmentally friendly product. We were able to take it to the DIY market, and this helped JAT from an industrial product or an industrial company to go into the retail market and be a household name. In 2001, we launched the JAT products of wood coatings in Bangladesh, and this was one of the best decisions I thought we made. When a lot of people at that time told us, don't bother to go into Bangladesh because Bangladesh did not even have a spray gun at that time. But what we did was we went ahead and introduced our product range in Bangladesh. They were using very inferior product at that time. Today, Bangladesh is using the world's best and the latest technologies in wood finishes, and we're very proud about that. And because we feel that we were the ones who drove that market to achieve that kind of technology and superiority. So in Bangladesh today, anybody who is asked about wood finish or about furniture will talk about JAT and our contribution to that market in being able to achieve what we have done there. So in 2001, we achieved a turnover of 1 billion rupees. By 2021, in 2011, we achieved a turnover of 1 billion. By 2021, we'll achieve a turnover of 9 billion rupees, which is a tremendous increase in turnover and proves our dominance in this market of furnishing and finishing in the construction industry in Sri Lanka and in the surrounding markets. As you saw in the video, we've been in the subcontinent now for a while, in India, in Bangladesh, in Maldives, in Pakistan. We have just gone into Africa as well, and in countries like Seychelles, Uganda, Ghana, and Kenya. And we look forward to expanding our footprint in these markets. I won't touch on corporate governance because Chairman Dr. Sipasala is with us, who might touch on it later on. It gives me actually a great pleasure to know that for the last 5 years, like the video said, JAT was the only maybe private company that has a Moody's ICRA rating of A+ stable. That again is a testimony of the way we've run our company with the corporate governance and the financial discipline that was required by a company to achieve that kind of recognition, and that gives us a lot of pride. So we expect, JAT is actually a cash positive company. We have all these plans we've put down in our prospectus, we've already set forth in motion. And we have 2 companies set up in Bangladesh and in Dubai already, to export 2 wholly owned companies in Bangladesh and Dubai, which has the funds already, the financials, the dollar funds already to make any investment that is needed. We've already sent some finance to start our production facilities in Bangladesh. So, but what we wanted to do by this IPO was to actually unlock the potential of the company and help our stakeholders and our customers and suppliers and the general public of Sri Lanka to also participate with us on this journey. And I assure you that all of us at JAT will work tirelessly to increase the wealth of all our shareholders. Let me thank Cal and NDB for doing a fantastic job up to now. And on behalf of the board, thank our CEO Nishal and the whole team of JAT for all the efforts they have made through the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gunawardena. I would like to now humbly invite Dr. Siva Sellaiah, Chairman of JAT Holdings, to address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome to all of you. I have been associated with JAT Holdings for a little over 7 years now in the capacity of chairman of the company. Now, I have seen the company migrating from a family-owned, privately run company to a public company. And now we are on the pathway to go as a listed public entity. And I must tell you that the transition of this journey has been very smooth. The company JAT Holdings gives top priority to the corporate governance structure, which is listed by the stock exchange as well as the CA Sri Lanka. So we attach a lot of importance to the corporate governance structure. And if I may just elaborate on that, if I start from the composition of the board, we have 9 members of the board, except the managing director, who is an executive director. All the other 8 members are non-executive directors. And of the 8 members who are non-executive directors, I am happy to say we have 5 independent directors. So that speaks for the corporate governance structure which we are imbibing. Then as far as the board composition is concerned, we have a very fine balance in the board. We have a very healthy balance as far as the gender is concerned. We have 3 female board directors. We have a good balance as far as the age is concerned, the diverse experience concerned, and also as far as ethnicity is concerned. So we are very proud of our board. Also, I must mention to you, although we have a very strong board, the board is annually evaluated. We have a self-evaluation of the board members every year. Then, as far as the corporate governance is concerned, we have all statutory committees required by law and statute for over 5 years now. It's not now, but over the last 5 years, we have been having these committees in place, whether it is the Audit and Risk Committee, or whether it's the HR and Remuneration Committee, or whether it is the Related Party Transaction Committee. Although it was a private company, we ensured that all these committees were in place, and the company was run like a listed company for over 5 years now. In addition to this, we also have an investment committee, where investments are evaluated by this particular committee. And I'm happy to also say that these statutory committees are headed by independent directors. These committees also meet very regularly to evaluate the performance and the company's other interests as per the statute. We also have a very strong internal audit department which audits the processes of the company internally, and this internal audit function is reporting only to the board audit committee, not to the management. So the line of independence is very clear there. So we are adhering to all corporate governance structures which a listed company entails. Then, in addition to this, the company also has a whistleblowing policy in place. I am also happy to mention that JAT Holdings Limited has been publishing its annual report for the last 5 years, which very few private companies do. And I am proud that we produce one of the best annual reports in the country. We have also won a few awards for these annual reports in the past. I think the managing director already mentioned to you all that for the last couple of years, over 4 years, we have been voluntarily requesting a rating to be done by ICRA Lanka, and we have been having an A+ rating of the company continuously for the last 4 years, 5 years. So that confirms the stability of the company as far as governance as well as the financial discipline is concerned. Then also as far as the shareholders are concerned and the new shareholders who are coming, I must also mention to you that the company has a very definitive dividend policy. We have a dividend policy that entails up to 40% of the profits to be paid to the shareholders. So that we've been practicing for the last couple of years. So these are some of the highlights I wanted to bring it to your attention. And thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Selaya. At this point, I would like to invite you all in the gathering to send us in any IPO-specific questions, as the panel will be having a Q&A session at the end of this program. I would now like to invite the representatives of NDB Investment Bank and Capital Alliance Partners Limited to present the key highlights related to the IPO.
Thank you. Warm welcome to you, ladies and gentlemen joining us online. The JAT IPO will have 82.9 million shares issued at an IPO price of 27 rupees, raising a total of Sri Lankan rupees 2.2 billion, which is for a 16.24% stake in the company. And post-IPO, the company will be valued at rupees 13.8 billion once listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange. Now, out of the 2.2 billion size of the IPO, JAT, as you know, is a high-growth company which has demonstrated a consistent growth track record. 1.5 billion of the funds essentially is growth capital, is fresh capital raised to be invested in the international markets that JAT operates, to further entrench JAT's position as a Sri Lankan-based international company, multinational company, and get into further deeper into the value chains by setting up manufacturing facilities in these international markets. And the balance 750 million, as you know, is an existing shareholder, Emerald Sri Lanka Fund, a private equity fund, who has come into the end of their investment mandate and is in the process of offering that into the market as well. Out of the 1.5 billion funds raised as growth capital, almost 500 million will be used to set up manufacturing facilities in Bangladesh, which is an extremely important growth market for the company. A further 300 million will be invested in Africa, again to set up manufacturing facilities and broaden the reach of JAT, while 430 million will be invested in Sri Lanka itself to set up a state-of-the-art research and development facility, which will enhance JAT's ability to innovate and cater to the Sri Lankan market and the regional markets in terms of providing customized products. Additionally, the balance 250 million will be utilized to further invest into the White by JAT product, which has revolutionized the Sri Lankan market with its unique distribution model. From a IPO returns point of view, as Chairman duly highlighted, there is a clear and transparent dividend guidance being offered to the market of 40% payout in terms of total group profitability. And the valuation carried out, which my colleague will take you through, offers an immediate capital gains potential of 21%, which will be a very attractive proposition to incoming investors. So let me now turn over and invite my colleague Rizni to take you through the valuation aspects. Thank you.
Thanks, Nilendra. So, ladies and gents, as you know, the IPO is priced at 27 rupees, which is effectively a 10-time forward earnings of JAT, the expected return for this year. So, as JAT would be the first pure-play paints company to be listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange, there's a lack of peers in the market. So, we've predominantly used discount DCF-based valuation, which gives us a valuation of 32 rupees and 50 cents. For good measure, we've also used a relative-based valuation with a combination of peers in the adjacent construction supplies industry in CSE, and also a few paints companies in Bangladesh, where JAT has significant presence. So the interesting thing there is, from a relative valuation basis, it gives us a price to earnings of 17.3 times, which is effectively a 40% discount to the valuation that we priced JAT at. The overall valuation at 32.70 gives the investors approximately a 20% upside, and we also expect investors in the IPO to get a long-term return in the mid-30s. The finishing comment, in terms of price to earnings, it's important to note that paints companies, predominantly, even globally, have always traded at a significant, healthy premium to any other construction supplies companies. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will now open the panel to answer a few selected questions we've received from the forum. The first question is, JAT has allocated a majority of IPO funds to be invested in plants in Bangladesh and Africa. How does it plan to carry this out given the current exchange control regulations?
Good morning, everyone. As mentioned in the prospectus, JAT Exports DMCC, a domiciled company in Dubai, will be the vehicle used as the investment for the Bangladesh manufacturing plant. JAT DMCC is predominantly responsible for 90% of our export revenue and has a very healthy cash balance. As at March 31st, we had about 240 million with zero debt. So even in the forecasted profits for 2022, we are expecting around 300 million PAT at JAT DMCC. So given the instance where the foreign currency restrictions are even further extended, we do not see any reason as to delay the Bangladesh operation, or there won't be any sort of problem for us to go ahead with this venture. And the Bangladesh manufacturing plant, the expenditure spread over 9 months, and we could easily manage it from the funds at JAT DMCC. The same applies for the plant in Africa, which we hope to incorporate in the years 22-23. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ferdinando. So the next question is, the leisure and tourism sector has suffered with the onset of COVID, and there will be limited refurbishments due to the closure of hotels. How has this impacted JAT?
So even in the previous year, that is the financial year ended 21, where we saw majority of the hotel sector not functioning, we performed in our wood coating sector, the local based wood coating sector. It was the best year that we had, where we achieved over 3 billion turnover for the local timber coatings. So this is, I think, sort of an indication that the wood coating sector is more to the domestic timber coating industry and has a less reliance on the hotel sector. So when this year, obviously the hotels will open at some point, there would be a built-up demand that will only add on to this already existing revenue, which we are used to sort of getting through the domestic wood coating industry.
So the third question is, there is an increasing trend to shift away from wood-based products to substitutes such as aluminium. How is this expected to affect JAT going forward?
Yeah, so that trend is predominantly only in the windows or the curtain wall sector, which has been maybe over the last 10 to 15 years the trend. And items such as doors, interior, external furniture, ceilings and flooring have largely remained wood. So we do not see any sort of trend that is shifting or any effect that can happen due to this.
The next question, why have companies in Bangladesh with higher PE multiples been used when arriving at the peer multiple for JAT?
Yeah, so as Adrian mentioned, Bangladesh market has been a predominant market for its international operations. About 25 to 30% of the revenue come from Bangladesh. So we looked at Bangladesh market because we didn't have any other competitor markets, because Bangladesh was a predominant market. So we looked at the operations in Bangladesh, and in our peer group we considered about 8 to 9 companies, a mix between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, obviously, the markets, the multiples are higher than Sri Lanka. So we look at, because of our exposure to Bangladesh, we had to consider Bangladesh as a proxy when looking at the peer multiples. So that's the reason that we looked at Bangladesh. And going forward also, there is a significant investment happening in Bangladesh. So we expect that market to grow significantly, contributing over 30% or so of the revenues of JAT. So that's the reason we actually looked at Bangladesh and looked at the peer, considered them when considering our peer group. Yeah.
Just to add on to that, we also have the potential of listing in Bangladesh in 4 to 5 years with our strong dominance in that market sector.
So the next question will be, JAT's trailing PE multiple based on financial year 21 earnings is at 20 times, and the forward PE multiple based on the financial year 22 earnings is at 10.3 times when compared to the average trading PE multiple of 7.3 times for local peers. How does JAT justify this?
So I think that comparison is not justifiable on a few counts. To start with, when you look at the earnings of JAT, the first quarter earnings of the company for FY21 was severely affected by the COVID lockdowns that we experienced. So if you take a trailing 12-month period, when you exclude the June quarter and include this year's June quarter, the company has earned profits of about 912 million. And it's well on its way to achieving a 1.2 billion profit number, which we have forecasted for FY22. So the bottom line number that you're seeing from last year is not representative of the company's long-term growth. Even in FY19, the company had earned about 900 million. That's on one hand. On the second hand, comparing it completely with only Sri Lankan peers is also not appropriate, as Darshan mentioned as well. Bangladesh is a significant component of the profitability of the company, and that is only expected to grow. Bangladesh as a country, its per capita income is where Sri Lanka was in 2009. And we all know what happened even in the wood coating space in Sri Lanka since 2009. And that's exactly what we expect will happen in Bangladesh as well. So Bangladesh's companies trade at much higher multiples than Sri Lanka, which is reflective of the expected growth there in that market. And so when you take the average of Bangladesh multiples as well as Sri Lankan multiples, as Rishni, my colleague, said earlier, the overall number, the price earnings ratio comes to 17 times. So when we look at even on a historic multiple of 13 times, that which JAT has been priced at, it is at a significant discount to this multiple. And if you look at just 6 months away in terms of when the company will complete this financial year, you will be at 10 times forward, which is essentially what this company is really worth.
So the final question out of the selected few will be, is JAT on track to achieve its profit after tax target of 1.2 billion rupees for the financial year 22?
Yeah, like Deshan mentioned, if you take the trailing 9 months, or 12 months, it's 900 million, which 1.2 billion is a very easy sort of target. And if you look at the first quarter of this year, this has been the best first quarter in the history of JAT Holdings, and that is with a lockdown in June of about 3 weeks. So we have achieved budgeted profit, from the budgeted profit, we had achieved a 90% in the first quarter. And another thing is due to the seasonality, the first half of the financial year constitutes about 35% of the profit after tax, and the second half constitutes about 65%. So from this 35%, the first quarter, we usually expect about 14 to 15%, which we have achieved this year as well. So we are well on track to achieve the 1.2 billion profit after tax.
Thank you to everyone who sent in their questions. I would now like to kindly invite Mr. Nishal Ferdinando, Chief Executive Officer, JAT Holdings Limited, to offer the vote of thanks.
On behalf of JAT Holdings Limited, I take this opportunity to thank the joint financial advisors and managers to the offer, Capital Alliance Partners Limited and NDB Investment Bank, the Colombo Stock Exchange, the bankers to the offer, HNB, placement coordinators, Equity Stockbrokers, registrars to the offer, PW Corporate Secretariat, the auditors, Ernst & Young, all our stakeholders who have made this journey possible, and the team at JAT Holdings. I also wish to thank every one of you who participated at the IPO launch event, and I hope that you would be a part of our extremely exciting journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ferdinando. And that concludes the official launch of the initial public offering by JAT Holdings. Thank you for joining and gracing us with your presence here today. Stay safe and take care.